940, Big 550 KTRS, the board meeting with Tony Messenger, editorial page editor of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Jane Duker, local gadfly, lover of Once, the musical at the Fox, as well as former chief of staff to Governor Holden, and soon-to-be Speaker of the House, Mr. John Deal. John, you're up.
I'm up. So, I've been nominated, I guess, by the crew here to start off on Medicaid expansion. Mm-hmm. So we'll just, I'll get started, and you guys can all throw arrows at me. Mm-hmm. The news this week with Sebelius, I guess the long knives out for Catherine Sebelius, and I think that's just more of the consensus that's built that this health care rollout and the health care law and the underpinnings of that law have just been a disaster. We are years, almost a year and a half late on the target numbers on the individual mandate. Keep in mind that the individual mandate is only covers about 10 to 15% of the entire insurance market that we're dealing with. The employer mandate, which underpins this law, has been pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. Another key financing mechanism of the health care law was the elimination of DISH payments under the original ACA. If we recall, the original ACA eliminated DISH payments, which was how the poor and underprivileged or underprivileged and poor, I guess that's the right terminology, how health care was partially financed. In exchange for that, the states were mandated to expand Medicaid. The Supreme Court threw out that the states could not be forced to expand Medicaid. About half the states have expanded Medicaid, about half the states have not. That decision has largely been driven by whether Medicaid eligibility was prior to the enactment of the ACA. DISH and the elimination of DISH has not been, or has been extended by Congress once again. So instead of DISH going away in 2014, it was pushed back to 2015, then it was pushed back to 2016, now it's pushed back to 2017. So the justification for expanding Medicaid, because DISH was going away, that justification is never going to exist, because there will never be a bill that gets out of the United States Senate of any financial consequence that does not extend DISH. When you have states like Florida, Texas, a state like Missouri that has Roy Blunt.
DISH stands for what? What's DISH?
Disproportionate share payments.
Gotcha.
Right. And it's the way that the
uninsured
were financed before. So that was supposed to go away under the ACA, and that's not going away. Okay,
it will go away.
It will never.
Run by Republicans who have selective amnesia finally listened to the Chamber of Commerce and the business community that are saying this is good business, expand Medicaid so that we can actually give people insurance so that they can get paid for that way, rather than the rest of us having a backdoor tax, which is the second part of the way the old system used to work, where the poor and indigent ended up in the emergency room and they got financed either through the DISH payments or in the rest of us getting increased health care premiums, which happened year after year after year. This is the part of the delays that just gets me so mad. Is the Republican strategy from the beginning has been delay, 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 do everything we can to get in the way, throw bombs at this thing to try to make it not work, and then when it doesn't work, say, oh my gosh, the president's program doesn't work. It's ridiculous. Kathleen Sebelius, her legacy will be partly the fact that they did make plenty of mistakes on healthcare.gov, that they did a poor job of communicating with the president to make sure that he knew that there were problems with the website. But guess what? The targets are still being met. People still have insurance. And this consensus that John's trying to talk about doesn't exist. In fact, the most recent polling shows that Obamacare approval is at an all-time level and is trending that way. Why?
12%.
Because people, 49%, because people that have insurance like having access to health care for the first time in their lives.
7.5 million people have insurance under this plan. 0 people have additional health care.
How many are private versus
under the Republican plan?
How many are private people that pay for it versus people that have signed up for
Well,
Medicaid.
all of the exchange programs are private insurance.
Not the 7 million though that you cited.
But
how much of that is
the
welfare?
7.5 million people that I am not going to have to pay their health care and higher
sure
premiums.
Sure you are in taxes.
And no, taxes haven't gone up.
Who
I
pays
am
for
paying
Medicaid?
taxes so that health care can be better in Illinois and everywhere else that's expanded
Who pays for
Medicaid.
Medicaid? That-
So
yeah,
we do.
I'm
We're
paying
paying
into the
that-
federal
that-
government.
That is a false
So-
argument. That is a false argument, and it's indisputable.
We have a Kansas
hold on.
border war on
It's-
economic
hold on, let me
development, but not
finish.
health care.
It is indisputable that Missouri gets more federal tax dollars back than we send to
But
Washington,
we're leaving
D.C.
money on the table. What you cannot
No,
dispute
hold on. That's
is
not
even
what you said. You just said Missouri tax dollars are being
They-
used to pay. That
they
is
are.
not. They are
We
not.
would get more
get
money out of the feds
every
if we
dime
expanded.
we send comes back to Missouri plus additional money. So
Historically,
still do.
historically.
Still do. Still
What's it
do.
gonna look like in 2 or 3
130%.
years?
130%.
That's
No, I
because
don't
of great
think so.
people like Kit Bond, who will be on the show on Wednesday.
That's right.
There we go.
And
And
you're
what's
telling
Kid
me
Bond
it's
going to be here for? McGraw, why don't you tell the listeners what he's doing?
Medicaid
He's
expansion.
trying to expand Medicaid.
Kid
Right.
Bond, the
Missouri.
Republican senator,
Right.
former Republican
Exactly.
governor,
That's right.
trying to say Medicaid expansion's good business.
Yes, but
Isn't
he
that
voted
interesting?
against it when he could.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
right. We got some good quotes the other way.
Well, I mean, but I like people who become educated and change their mind properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to leave it
Hey,
there.
lobbyist.
They actually do like each other. John Deal, Speaker of the House. John, have a good week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Tony Messenger, STLtoday.com, editorial page editor. Anything we should know about at STLtoday.com?
Just go there every day, all day long.
Every
Lots
day,
of good stuff.
And just keep hitting refresh.
Right.
Jane Duker, former Speaker of the House. Jane, what are you doing Sunday?
Sunday, I'm going to see once
You're
again.
going to see once, twice.
Correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the board meeting. Follow us on Twitter at McGraw-Millhaven. Yell at us on Facebook. Guys, have a good week. Thanks.
Thanks.
We are in the
Toodalay.
middle. We are a tutelaire, please. I don't know
That
what
was
he said.
really sad.
He just said he likes donuts, I think.
Time for the R&R Porta Potty break.
No, it's time for the ARCA break, okay? ARCA, the Assisted Recovery Centers of America. On a serious note, we are in the middle of a heroin addiction.